racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
Hello and welcome everybody back once again. It's the SFRGT Challenge Season 4 Friday Night Challenge Finals, and finally we are here. It's been a long road coming, and we are going to be deciding not the championship tonight. Unfortunately, that has already been claimed by the likes of Lucas Costa. Why don't we take a look at those standings? At the moment, we can see Lucas Costa currently is going to be winning the championship guaranteed at this point, with the likes of Marcos Vinicius behind him, but we will get more on that in a little bit. As it stands, I hope everyone's having a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning wherever you are in this fine world. I'm Mike Nause. Joining with me in the booth tonight is Carson Kass. Carson, how are you doing in this finals tonight?
I am absolutely great. Finally, after 8 rounds, I guess 7 rounds, we're on the 8th. We're here at the Nürburgring, about to wrap up this excellent season all around the world, and there's still a lot on the line here. That 3rd place spot, all up in the air like you mentioned. Joe Bandera, Mohamoud, going to be the eyes. Well, your eyes should be on them tonight specifically.
Absolutely. As we take a look a little bit deeper now into the championship, we briefly mentioned Lucas Costa has taken this championship in the McLaren 720S Evo Challenge, Evo, and what a job it has been. He's been driving stellarly throughout the performance, with only 1 round being a P2 and a P2. Everything else on that board was a P1, minus the DNF that he had last week, which we thought spiced things up. But unfortunately, with only 55 points available, Marcos Vinicius is going to be taking home P2, fortunately / unfortunately. So Brazil taking home P1 and 2 for the championship. Now, the 3rd position, as you can see, 2 points between the two of these two drivers. How many times can I say 2 in a sentence? Is going to be Mohamoud and Joel Bandera, and they are going to be meleeing it out here tonight. Basically, whoever finishes ahead, barring a couple positions if you're further back, I think we're going to be seeing these two down to the wire here tonight, Carson.
Absolutely, and keep in mind, Pagani's just 20 points off, so if something big happens, could potentially move his way up, but unlikely. As we go throughout the field tonight, we will see a bunch of drivers competing for pride rather than money, but as we mentioned with that cash ideal, that 3rd place spot does come with a little bit of a price tag.
Yes, indeed it does. The 3rd place is going to be bringing home a nice $20. So these two battling it out for a little bit of real-life clout, a little bit maybe, you know, a cheap bottle of champagne, if you want to call it that. Obviously, it's P3, so maybe not so much so. But there's Joel Bandera. He's entering pit lane, currently sitting in 8th position, and his competitor is currently sitting in 11th on his outlap, or in-lap, rather. I'm not sure. Just getting out of the way. Current pole sitter is going to be Ricardo Rivera, who's in pit lane, and Lucas Costa, he's going to be running P2 at the moment.
Yeah, you mentioned that only P2, that one P2 we had throughout the season. Ooh, Costa loses the car, keeps it straight, but that he's a second behind Rivera, and Rivera is the only driver that has beaten him, apart from last round's race last week at Kalami. Rivera was P1 pole both times for the double race format. In our format tonight, I believe it's 75 minutes after this last 5 minutes of qualifying, no?
Yes, indeed. It is 75 minutes. And race format tonight here is, I don't think it got sent to me. That's all right. We'll find it as we go. I'm not sure. I think it's 1 mandatory pit stop, potentially 2, honestly. I'm not completely sure. But we'll find out come the actual race. I should have probably done my homework there. You calling me out, Carson.
Yeah, I spent a very long week doing my homework, which is why I have no idea what the format is. Finished an essay. Very thankful to be here after that. This is much, much better than actually doing schoolwork, folks. This is anything but homework. As Costa, he's going to hit the line. Not sure if this is that same lap that was invalidated.
No, it is going to be an improvement, but he really loses quite a bit there on the final corner and actually runs about even with the time. Had 3/10 up prior. Drops it, though, at the very last minute there. We have Guilherme Pagani, who is going to be down in 5th right now in the Aston Martin, trying to make their way up the stage here. But also, I guess one thing that I forgot to mention is that while there's $20 on the line for P3, there's also two $20. How do I word this? Didn't think about this one.
Two $20 prizes?
Yeah, there you go. That's English. There'll be two $20 prizes on the line for drivers that have completed more than 5 rounds. So do stick around to the end of the stream to find out who that is going to be. At the moment, though, a lot of drivers contendable in that stage. Obviously, we're looking for that dedication. We're looking for the consistency, not the consistency in results, but the consistency in being out there. If you got the consistency to deliver, well, you're going to be rewarded handedly like Lucas Costa with the $50 prize pool, as well as our top 10 getting a Coach Dave bundle, or excuse me, 10% off to Coach Dave Delta, which of course Coach Dave Delta, now a Jardier, Coach Dave Delta really is a difference maker in doing the tasks for sim racers, anywhere from automatically loading setups to proper tire pressures and fuel, and showing you your inputs like a mini Motec. Use the link down in the description for more information. Lucas Costa, let's see, he's going to be running that low fuel at the moment, basically down onto the fumes. I'm looking for that pole position.
Running on empty Tilly engines dead here, but make sure you go support. That does support the community, giving our drivers maybe a bigger prize pool in the future. Maybe just better deals for them with the 10% off at Coach Dave Delta, but Costa will not improve as he crosses the line. And Joe Bandera, he's pretty far behind, and you know, Pagani's looking real fast tonight. 1/10 ahead of the car behind in 4th.
Yeah, Pagani, another one of those drivers currently sitting 5th in the championship. Not really a contender in terms of the getting into P3. It is mathematically possible, but I think highly unlikely. It would require a win from the Portuguese driver, which is not out of the question by any stretch, but with the likes of Ricardo Rivera in the lobby and Lucas Costa, it's going to be a bit of a handful. Obviously, Marcos Vinicius, no one to shake a stick at either. And Joel Bandera here on towards the line. Or not to the line, excuse me, we're on the back straight. In the wrong part.
In the Nürburgring, it is obviously very possible that is an extremely, I guess, just horrifying P1 section if you are an inexperienced driver. T1 section, not P1. But it is just not great. You've got, if anybody misses their braking zone, you're going downhill. You're going to be going fast because you're so far away from the restart section. It's not going to go well if you mess it up, and you don't want to be the guy that messes it up, I'll tell you that much.
No, you don't, and everybody is messing up that final Coca-Cola curve, one of the best named corners in all of racing. And Joel Bandera, joining the club, I should say, is going to be really losing, I think, like 3 or 4 tenths, 5 tenths potentially on that final sector. The grip looks all right out there in terms of the track condition. We're looking at about 20 degrees Celsius, which is, yeah, you know, it's all right. It's a little bit chilly out there, but should not be affecting the driver's grip too much. We also have our previous Season 2 champion out on the field here, and that is going to be Albert Tranghisi. He's going to manage a P3 at the moment.
Yeah, Tranghisi made his return to the championship last week, correct? Not sure if he raced previously, but it's definitely been time as a factor for him. Wasn't able to practice, it seems, too much last week, but putting himself in P3 with a minute left is exactly, I think, where Tranghisi wants to be right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Mohamed here not improving on his lap. Neither is Joel Bandera, 3 tenths up, actually. So we'll see. A bit of lap to go, though, for both of these drivers. And again, these are the ones to keep an eye on. They are neck and neck in championship points and is going to be the difference between $20 and these guys in terms of their hobbies. Also, welcome everybody in chat. We got Jesus Gomez cheering on Lucas here tonight, as well as Lizzie Alicea. Lizzie, welcome. As well as Marcelo. Marcelo, welcome as well. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. Lots of Brazilians cheering on Brazil, and well, deservedly so, as Brazil is going to be locking up 1-2 in the championship. And Mohamed comes home in 8th, which is going to be ahead of Joel Bandera at the moment. Now, can Joel Bandera respond?
Bandera right to the line now. He will improve to 8th, all the way up. Just barely under Phlox. Oh my gosh, that is 3 thousandths away from 8th now. As Cruz goes 7th fastest in the 777 car. Anything but luck for him. That is a good lap from the driver there.
Absolutely amazing. This championship could not get more exciting. Joel Bandera and Mohamed neck and neck in terms of the actual grid positioning. Oh, this is going to really be a show come the actual race. Joel Bandera had a temp, though. He did cross the line in time to get another lap in. The next driver that is going to be crossing the line will be Ricardo Rivera. He's on pole position by about 6 tenths. He's looking to make it a few more tenths. And while this qualifying is going to be wrapping up here, just wanted to take a moment to remind everybody that SimStaff is sponsoring the stream. Big shout out to SimStaff. Thank you so much for supporting. And SimStaff is also on the lookout for dedicated sim racers and sim enthusiasts like yourself to join the team. If you're ready to dive into the world of racing, apply now to be part of the excitement. Use the link down in the description and tell them that SFRGT sent you. One of the drivers out on this field here tonight, Mike Gravelle, actually, he is in SimStaff doing some event technician things and going and traveling the country, as that is what SimStaff allows you to do. Very exciting.
Yeah, very, very cool. Opportunities there everywhere. If you're just looking for something to do that's related into sim racing, it's an absolutely just wonderful experience. Stories I've heard have been great. As Pagani, he'll cross the line. I don't believe any improvement. That'll put him in 5th as Bandera now. He's got an opportunity to improve here. He's only 3 thousandths away from Phlox. He could put himself with a little bit of a barrier from the driver 2 points behind as he heads towards the line through the Coca-Cola curve.
Heading up now, looking to gain some ground on his competitor, and he does so up into P6. Joel Bandera should be fairly happy with that result. As it stands, going to be Ricardo Rivera, Lucas Costa, and Albert Tranghisi, your top 3.
Yeah, if you look at those just tenths between the drivers, it is such a tightly packed field. A lot of competitive driving tonight. And 20 drivers, I'm very, very excited to see what we have tonight in store for this. And the region of the series, by the way, is the, I believe, America, or the North American section of the world. Or, gosh, what is the...
North
what?
America? Yeah. I think you're
No,
you're
not
right.
North America. Because it's the whole...
The Americas? I'm not sure what you're getting at here.
The Americas, yes, but I was thinking, I think Western Hemisphere? Eastern? Is that a thing?
Carson, you're digging your own grave on this one, brother, and I'll allow
I absolutely am. I did pass the class where I learned that, though, just as a general precedent. But this is just generally the Americas. You've got mainly drivers from America, Canada, Brazil, and Puerto Rico for the man on pole position. I will never get that wrong again.
Also, another shout out to more joining us here tonight. We have, we have 2 names that are tough to pronounce. Welcome. Let me study those here for a second. Is that Autista as well as Yosin?
Oh man.
Hey, welcome.
Oh man.
Welcome. I hope I am pronouncing those somewhat correctly, but thank you for joining us here tonight. Hosen? Anyways.
I don't know. Hopefully that welcome, you feel as welcomed, warm as we were close, hopefully.
Cheers from Australia.
Ooh.
Man down under. It looks like we are going to be gridding up here soon and getting down into the real meat and potatoes soon enough here. As we get ready to head on down here, we are going to be dropping towards the field. As we can see ahead of us here, we have starting up on pole position. It is going to be Ricardo Rivero from the Puerto Rico iRacing Club in the 720S GT3 Evo. Lined up next to him is going to be our champion, Lucas Costa, the number 90 McLaren. Going to be locking out that front row. Albert Tranghisi coming home in third for the number 4 car, which is interesting. I think he's normally number 3. Marcos Vinicius in 4th for the number 17, the Brazilian. Looking to really bring home a nice result to secure P2 in the championship. He already has, but deliver all the way. Guilherme Pagani in 5th with Joel Bandera, the 3rd place competitor, in 6th. Marco Saldana coming home in 7th on the Rockefeller Racing Bentley with Jelson Cruz in the 777 in 8th. Jan Flock's going to be coming home in 9th, and then other P3 competitor rounding out your top 10 here tonight is going to be Mohamoud.
Right behind him in P6 in the championship. Won't move up, but definitely could move down with Joey Raymer at the back. Rocky Rocco in the Rockefeller Racing Machine. Behind him, Miles Jr., another Brazilian in this Brazilian-type field in 83, with Patrick Dubell in the 87, just behind another Rockefeller Racing Machine with no livery tonight. Barry Hargan and the 67 Porsche behind them, and right behind him in that red and blue Ferrari is Fabio Russo in the Spirit Onyx 78 car. Erinu Eller in the Reardon Racing Machine, the 448 Brazilian. Behind them in 17th is Devin Anthony in Rockefeller Racing in 664. Michael Gorvelle, the Canadian, in number 30. And in our last spots in the grid, Francisco Barbarossa in the NS12 Primus Racing 61. Last but not least, Joey Raymer, who's going for P6 in the championship in that number 76 Nameless Racing AMG.
Yes, indeed. The grid is set here tonight, and the cars are going to be getting ready for their pull away soon enough. The front end is already gone. We got 100, excuse me. We have 1 hour and 15 minutes on the clock, 75 minutes ahead of us here tonight, as the cars do end up going for their outlap. The Nürburgring, and one of the tracks that is ripe with history, of course, has been around from the dawn of time back in 1927. Of course, the current layout that we use, the GP back in 2003, located in Nürburgring, Germany, with 15 corners, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and a whopping 57 meters of elevation, or about 187 feet, and 3.1 miles, or 5.1 kilometers for these drivers to tackle.
Yeah, definitely going to see, I guess, maybe a lot of tackling into turn 1, if we're not lucky, and it goes like it did last time, if I'm correct. Actually, I'm totally wrong. I think it was something else entirely. Actually, a very clean race, but we just had the cheetah curb actually just entirely annihilate people, and that caused a lot of damage last week. But there's tons of curves throughout this track that can do things like that. Dunlop Carey and the Michael Schumacher S and the Michelin curve, as well as the Warsteiner curve, are all sections of this track that can be extremely dangerous with drivers around. You never want to take some of those fast turns with drivers to your sides.
Absolutely, especially through those high-speed chicanes that you have in the back. Anything can happen in racing, and it normally does. And when you try that, well, that effect gets amplified by about 100. And as you mentioned, the famous Haughaken first corner, which is what it was previously called and is now called something different, and I cannot remember what it's called. It's, what is it called now? I gotta look that up now. Now it's gonna bother me.
Mike looks that up. Yes, I mean, nothing feels right about hitting a chicane at 4th gear. It's the scariest experience, I think, as a driver. You always feel like you're going to crash. I think it's just not fun to hit a curb when you're going that fast through a chicane.
Absolutely, and I guess according to the one website, it's not. The website that I normally get my sources from, but I'm pretty sure the Nürburgring changed its first corner. Chat, could you enlighten me on what the new... is it the Yokohama S's? Is that what they call it now, or was that what it was called now? Oh, man. I have confused myself with my own documentation.
I don't really know, but the Nürburgring might be... Maybe you're thinking of they renamed the section of the Nordschleife. I have no idea.
No,
I don't really know
much about that. And I'm right on one of the things that I said. I know that for a fact, but I don't know which. So yeah, it's really not that helpful. Welcome, Kass. Also, I was correct with... What did I say first? Was it, I would have probably said Yosin first, so that probably... Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Kass, really good username. as always, Carson
Not
Kass is my
biased.
name if you are wondering. Not biased at all. It's spelled a little differently. Carsonkass. But as we hit the final final turn, the Coca-Cola curve, we hope tonight's racing is just as sweet.
Absolutely. 2x2 Noah's Ark formation for the rolling start here at the Nürburgring. Ricardo Rivera on pole position with Lucas Costa in second. I'm Mike Nause in the booth. Joined with me tonight is Carson Kass. As we get ready to go green, green, green now, heading down to the first corner of the Haughaken, and it's going to be a pretty much even start up at the front, but Ricardo Rivera is going to eke out that advantage. Now from behind, we're going to be seeing some three-wide action potentially as the Bentley goes diving into the mix now, gets it down to the inside. It looks like everybody getting a little bit of bumping and banging. Joel Bandera going to be taking a little bit of contact early on. That's not going to help him later on in this race, but for now, he holds on. Going to keep P7 firmly, but Gelson Cruz breathing down the neck as they go side by side in front. Marcos Vinicius and Guilherme Pagani, Marcos Saldana in the Bentley is going to have to firm it out now as they go through the arena sector and have to go nip and tuck.
That's Pagani that went wide just ahead of them. Marco Saldana in that English Rockefeller Racing Bentley school bus is going absolutely nuts. I don't know what just flew out of his car. I'm not sure what that was, but Rocky Rocco ahead, pressured by Dubois with Mohamed in front of him.
Absolute melee early on here on lap one. Of course, the first lap is when you can make the most ground up, but you can also lose the most ground. It's a game of chance. Roll the dice and see what you can get. Just don't roll snake eyes. So far, Jan Flox managing to not quite roll boxcars, but keeping that Boxster in a Boxer, I should say. Oh, he's in a Ferrari. It would have been so good if I was looking at Gelson. Dang it, I messed it up.
It's totally fine, but speaking of Porsches and not Ferraris, McLaren, that's a driver off ahead.
Marcos Vinicius, actually.
That's Vinicius off ahead as Bandera putting pressure on Saldana. That'll put a bigger gap between him and that bright green Porsche you see behind them. He's trying to get around side by side as they hit the fast left hand or the right hander. Right hander there. Heading out to the Coca-Cola curve. They slow down just barely at that section right beforehand. Bandera going to go ahead of Saldana as he is forced off track. Ooh.
On picking up some grass on the tires, then furthering the problem by going deep into the marbles. That's going to hand one position over to Gelson Cruz. Jan Flox going to be potentially getting a better exit, but has to worry about Mohamed behind. Mo is on a charge. He is currently losing this fight in the championship. He needs to get his head down and get on the charge, as currently Joel Bandera in 5th position is looking to take home P3 and the $20 that comes with it.
Mohamed looking to go kicking and screaming into the night. If he does not win tonight, at least put the effort in and do what he can. Flox ahead is a slower driver, just comparatively in that first section, and he gains time in that second section with how fast the Porsche is in straight lines and in fast corners compared to that Porsche. The Manthey EMA car really needs to get going, as now Bandera is in 5th.
Yeah, Bandera on a charge currently, and he wants that P3. That's really what it is. Who has more heart at this point? I gotta say, Mohamed. I know the heart is there. He just needs to find it. The Porsche not quite getting that advantage that it needs at this moment. Now behind this, Patrick Dubois is catching up with Rocky Rocco, as well as Barry Hargan and Allure. But let's see here, Devin Anthony. I think he is going to be in a straight-up fight and a melee with Fabiano Rousseau and Joey Raymer. Joey Raymer started at the back of the grid here, trying to look at this position towards Devin.
Raymer on the inside now, back to the out. He's got to go nip and tuck right behind that McLaren, but he's putting pressure all over Devin Small Block Anthony ahead. Now into this fast little chicane here, really horrifying. Oh, that's the left-hander. Never mind. On the other end, Raymer still putting pressure on this Nameless Racing machine, but he's giving himself a name as we go throughout this championship, putting pressure on other drivers, making big strides forward.
Absolutely. Devin, let's see here. Can he hold on to the likes of Joey? Now, Joey is quite a talented sim racer. Been around the block, obviously an admin here at SFRGT, and looking to claim his next victim here in Devin Anthony, getting that better exit here on the exit, onto the exit of the Coca-Cola curve, with the slipstream and that AMG V8. Let's see. The McLaren is so quick. It's insane how fast that car is, even with the slipstream. Covers the inside. To the out goes Joey Raymer. But what has happened here? Patrick Dubois and Jan Flox have had it coming together, it looks like. And Jan is stranded on the side here. That's Mohamed in the Porsche.
Take a brief look at this replay. Looks like Mo goes in. Ooh, looks like that Ferrari turns out a little bit, potentially. And it just dominoes from there. That Porsche and that McLaren get involved. Big, rough incident at T1, and that's what we're talking about, how dangerous that turn is.
Yeah, I think it was Barry Hargan there that got involved with that contact, and I'm not sure how the stewards are going to rate that one. Potentially a racing incident. That first contact was tough. That was really hard to see from the angle that we had. So we'll see. That one definitely will come down to the stewards. But for now, we continue on green here. And also a little update from Yazin in chat. The Yokohama S's are used for the 24 and for the Nordschleifer, or for the NLS, and then turn 1. I read this so much better in my head. Basically, it's the difference between the Nordschleifer and the actual GP circuit is my understanding of that. So that makes... Man, I should have reread that before I said it.
Yeah, I mean...
No, I was right. I was right. I think that's...
Yeah,
I think that's
is Yokohama... Oh, as Dubogos are on the outside. Slight contact with that Porsche. As they head now towards this fast right, left into right. Goodness me. Chicane towards the Coca-Cola corner. Dubois still forced behind. That was almost real bad in that back section here. But now they're both closing in on Eller ahead. It should be interesting going into T1. And also,
Alert.
Yokohama is a company too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Patrick Dubois down the inside of the first corner here, sends it onto Barry, and it looks like, for now, Patrick is going to be able to hold that one off. Going to take the inside line for the arena sector. Up next is Allure, who got a very poor exit we saw in the final corner. Final corner is now in the past, obviously, and looking forward here with a McLaren and a Porsche behind. It's going to be quite a bit of work here for this Brazilian driver, currently running in 11th.
Yeah, Hargan definitely very happy with Eller in front having a poor exit because it's going to slow Dubois down a significant amount on that section there. And it should, if Eller can keep that McLaren behind, should be good for Hargan, who may have a chance of getting around here towards this bottom section. But the last thing he wants to do is bottom out towards this section here.
Miller managing to recover from that previous lap, pulling away now from those two drivers and allowing them to scrap it out. Fabiano Rousseau and the SOT joining them behind. Is going to be another three-way scrap, as there's a three-way scrap happening behind them. This is exactly what we wanted here for this finals, I have to say. Lots of action everywhere you look. And quite frankly, what a way to end it here at the SFRGT Challenge, the Season 4 Friday Night League. Again, hats off to Lucas Costa. What a championship he has driven. Piloting to perfection. It is going to be for this Brazilian kid. Or kid, I'm not sure how old. I know we have his dad in chat. I just assume, but I'm assuming he's a little bit younger. But Lucas, a stellar performer regardless, has a long sim racing career ahead of him, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely that number 90 car is something that you may be seeing for a while. And as I mentioned earlier in the season, Rivera beat Costa by about 15 seconds. Different track, obviously, but Costa reeling him in here, trying to keep it close, and doing just that as they are on their own island ahead of everybody else. 4 seconds to third place.
Absolutely reeling him in like a walleye on the ice of Lake Winnebago. Jeez Louise, Lucas Costa. He's going to be wanting to win more than just the championship tonight. He wants to win the race, too.
Yeah, Rivera, obviously a very experienced sim racer. He's got a semi-pro rating on SimGrid. Had a one-stop earlier in a round. Won both races. Got both poles by a significant margin. And Costa, I think, would be great for his mental. Just as wanting to prove yourself, beating a driver like Rivera.
Oh, as he goes deep there through the hairpin, that's going to be a couple tenths gone onto Lucas. And I'd imagine these two are going to be keeping each other honest for a good while. Let's tune back with Patrick Dubois, Fabiano Rousseau, and Irinu Allure. And they are having, well, a little bit of fun here on lap number 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, keeping it honest as they all debate over who this P11 is. Ooh, right through the middle goes the Ferrari, barely. Oh my goodness, barely keeping it through as Fabiano Rousseau gets 11th as he parts the seas.
We're going to watch this on board from Fabiano Rousseau, as this is going to be quite the view, I would imagine. Has a great perspective to see the Porsche going deep and the clattering mid-corner, and the seas part and the pants are going to be, well, needing a change come the next pit stop. But my goodness, Fabiano Rousseau found himself in the perfect position at the right time there.
And that is a very good P11 spot to get for the Spirit Onyx team, and Fabiano Russo in the front. Is a little bit of an update. Hamoud, at some point, I don't remember when, moved up to 8th. I meant to mention it, but that means that there's only 2 drivers now separating 3rd place from battling one another. As spinning around is Marcos Vinicius, another accident for him. Let's take a look.
Bit of a Beyblade effect there going on. Is this going to be too much curb usage through the chicane? Oh, just missing the chicane entirely. And, well, that is going to be the result. Almost keeps it under control and gets tagged from the McLaren. The Rockefeller Racing McLaren of, I'd assume that was not Patrick Dubois. That was, Devin Anthony.
He's the only one with the livery. As unfortunately, that's just rough. Tried to get back on track. Wasn't looking too closely and got sent into the spin cycle by the Rockefeller Racing machine. Rough.
Yeah, bit of damage picked up there on the front end, but it shouldn't be too effective or too affecting of that. Gonna carry on for now and not really worry about it.
Yeah, definitely. Damage going to be a big factor for a lot of these drivers here. It is an hour and 15-minute race, and Mohamoud, I wanted to talk about his damage earlier as he puts pressure onto that Bentley in front. I believe potentially he's got some rear damage. Not sure how clean the car is looking, but that contact he had earlier with the Ferrari definitely, hopefully, isn't going to bite him at all. But there's also a chance that Bandera in 5th has damage, and Hamoud right now is making a mad charge towards it.
Absolutely, no doubt, and it's really unfortunate that I don't have Dubois' livery. I wonder why that is. That's so unfortunate. Missed opportunity there. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick, I know what you did, and it's shout out to you, brother. That's all I got to say. You know what you did too, but unfortunately, it's not visible tonight.
Yeah, well, that is an advertisement. Maybe you can see. Oh, sorry. Maybe you could see Dubois' next livery next season on the season 5 potentially of the Friday GT Challenges. Raymer now putting pressure onto Eller. He's been a rocket up the field. Started last, I believe. And that 76 car is looking to make it all 1 hour, 2 minutes. Trying to move around Eller here. See if he does. No, we'll keep it behind in T1. Take a little bit of a better angle than Eller will. He should get a better exit, especially in that AMG. Looks like no, Eller got a quick run out of there.
Gonna be still on the charge, though. Raymer is not one to give up easily. Also, if you guys do want to see the livery, you guys can head over to the SFRGT Challenge Discord link in the description and head over to the photos and liveries, and that will, you can see the work that has been done on that McLaren. Again, unfortunately, I'm not sure why. I downloaded liveries, Patrick, I promise.
That, and, maybe you could participate in this next season or any of the other seasons the SFR GT Challenge offers eventually, I believe. I don't think they have another open season right now, but Dubois putting pressure on Mike Gravelle. Gravelle, very long-time driver here, but Dubois lost his position earlier just because of the spin cycle, I believe. Yeah.
Ooh, and almost trying to make a repeat of that one. Does keep it under control for now. Now, Mike Gravelle, he's one of those drivers that has just been an absolute champion. Not quite in the P1 sense, but managing to finish pretty much every race that he participates in. Regardless of what happens to him, he is just here for the experience, here to make it to the end, and here to show what his medal is really made of. Obviously, you can check him out over on YouTube. I think Gravel Trap Racing, he is going to be probably live as well. So you can see his perspective alongside the main feed here, where you can see all of the action going on.
It's kind of like F1 when you tune into your favorite driver. But Mike Gravelle, my favorite livery on the grid. Still, as usual, Dubois going to drop off a bunch of time as we take another look at it. The Gravel Trap Racing machine, absolutely wonderful logo. Not sure if he made it or if someone else made it, but whoever made it did an excellent job. Made a great livery, great color design. That gold, red, and black works well with those golden tires, or golden rims on the tires.
Absolutely. Gotta love the black and gold, befitting a champion. Mike Gravelle, a champion in our hearts. Now up ahead, Joey Raymer still trying to make dispatch of Allure at this moment. It's been quite a long time coming, but he hasn't been able to make it happen just yet. Struggling with the pace potentially. And also, one thing I'm noticing, the track temp is now down to 14 degrees. I hope the drivers managed to equate for that in their tire pressure calculations. Obviously, there is one mandatory stop, and tires are going to be, I think, optional in a 75-minute race. But I would imagine these drivers are going to take tires every single time. So we're going to be seeing them take tires and fuel more or less.
Yeah, we'll definitely come down to that when it comes to pitting. We have no pit window this week, correct? Do we have a pit window?
No, it doesn't look to be a pit window this week, as we can take maybe, I don't know, does it tell us here? I don't think there is. But you can see on the right-hand side what the ballast is for the cars. We are going to be using the LFM BOP. And you can see some cars with minus kg and some cars with plus kg. McLaren is minus 6 kg?
What? I feel like that should never be minus for a McLaren, just as a personal opinion.
It's track dependent. It's track dependent. So that's the biggest thing. So I trust LFM. Let's just say that. Also, I think Mike Gravelli has had a bit of a spin.
Gravelli, hopefully, unfortunately, was in the namesake there as Joey Raymer looks to go around this outside. Eller blocks it. They're going to go through the chicane now. Back onto the straight right before the Coca-Cola curve. They're going to trying to make it work. Raymer will have to stay behind as Eller shut the door on him.
Going to be gaining back in that slipstream, though. Down the start-finish straight. Looking for that braking marker. Is going to be gaining quite a lot there under the brakes. That's going to make more poor of an exit than he would like, I would imagine. And again, it's going to have to go back into the mode of managing and waiting. Just try not to get your tires too hot. Try not to get your tempers too hot either. That's going to be a crucial element in this as well.
Yeah, just under an hour left, and obviously it's nighttime, so temperature's going to drop. You're going to have a different strategy on on tires if it is on that section. But this will be our first net race of the season, I believe, as Joey Raymer still going to put pressure. He gains seemingly in this section, and almost to the Coca-Cola curve. He's always gaining time on Eller ahead, barely. And then as they hit that curve, Eller seems to do better in that first section overall, which does numbers for that Porsche versus that Mercedes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really seeing the difference in car skill levels, I should say, not driver skill levels necessarily, but just where the cars differ. The nimbleness of the Porsche versus the very forward nature of the AMG. And you just can't quite send it up the inside versus a Porsche in this situation, regardless of talent. And there was a little bit of a late braking zone from Joey Raymer, and that is going to put him 1.5 seconds behind, and with a bit of work to do to catch back up to Aller.
Be putting his head down and just running forward, trying to see that back bumper again of Aller, but that is rough. You can certainly send it either way. And it just wasn't up the inside, went a little bit wide for that 76 car. He'll have some work to do, like you mentioned.
Little update on our P3 battle currently in the championship. It is going to be between Mo Hamoud as well as Joel Bandera. Joel is winning the championship at the moment, but Joey Raymer, he's managed to find side-by-side here on the exit of the Coca-Cola curve, heading down towards the first hairpin, if you want to call it that. And it is going to be fully ahead, it looks like, and done and dusted. Joey Raymer gets the job done. Lick the stamp and send it, as Daniel Ricciardo would say.
Absolutely great overtake around the outside there. And you mentioned not winning the championship. That is for third place, the battle between Hamoud and Bandera.
Yeah.
How close is Hamoud to that back bumper? Because Hamoud seems now lost a spot to Jelson Cruz, and someone else went behind him.
That was Marco Saldana, I think, with team orders, is what I think we just saw. The Rockefeller racing car of Jelson Cruz. He says, Marco, Jelson is faster than you. And Jelson, or rather Marco, he obliged.
Yeah, that makes sense, and it's definitely part of the car there. This car is good for Marco Saldana. He's proven that he can drive very well with it, but there's certain sections of this track where this little English school bus does not do too well with.
Yeah, you could say that again. This is definitely not quite a meta car. Yeah, it is a bit of a school bus, as Carson has pointed out, and Marco Saldana, he's just built different. The 111, managing to find his way in life.
Yeah, it is kudos to how talented of a driver ahead, but That's Jelson Cruz in front, that 777 car. We mentioned that this guy's skill, it's not all luck, despite those numbers, as he now hawks down Bandera ahead, trying to move him into P5, and that'll be big for Hamoud if he can find a way. Jelson Cruz maybe could get ahead of Bandera, and he can get ahead of Saldana because he's been faster. It'll be big if we can see that through pit strategies, though. Everything should get shaken up.
Yeah, Joel needs to get the hammer down. Currently 156.0 was his previous lap. Now Jelson Cruz only 0.2 slower, but tenths turn into seconds, and those seconds come down quickly. And Joel Bandera with 55 minutes left, he might find himself under threat potentially for that championship, the P3 battle of Mo Hamoud versus Joel Bandera. Now, if I confirm, let me do a little bit of math here. Scoring-wise, obviously, if you're in the top points here, 2 points is the difference between P9 and P10. So if they were to finish P8 and P9, that's going to be 3 points, which is good to know for me. Probably doesn't make much sense to the chat. So currently, as they stand, with Joel Bandera in 5th, even if they were to battle for the likes of P8 and P7, whoever would finish on top of that battle will win the P3. Now, Jelson, stellar here throughout his performance. He's going to be keeping that up. Invalid lap, though. Now, the question is, are we going to see these track limits add up? Obviously, with the extension of the track limits, you get 3 times given to you for free, and that 4th one is going to be costing you a trip through pit lane, and that will not count towards your 1 mandatory stop. You can see off on the left-hand side next to your favorite driver's name, that number 1 representing that they need to make a stop. You can see Marcos Vinicius down in P last at the moment. Well, he may be in last, but he's made a pit stop, meaning that he is good to go all the way to the end. And now we're starting to see an undercut attempt here from Rocky Rocco as he comes in very early.
Yeah, and it will definitely mention with the track limits. It won't cost for your pit stop, but it will cost against your time. You want to keep it simple, stupid here is the best way to describe the Nürburgring with this. Much time left. You do not want to be pushing too hard, and if you really need to, you need to keep it within the lines because this track gives it out like candy.
Yeah, and especially through that arena sector is one that you can find yourself pushing the limits, as well as the chicanes in the back, these very high speed corners that, well, you're really pushing the limits every single time in order to maximize that minimum speed throughout. You don't want to give an inch, nevertheless a mile, so pushing all the way towards that white line. Sometimes you can find yourself dancing on the edge and towards the side that you definitely you're not looking for.
Yeah, tango with track limits is just kind of how this goes. It's a complex choreography, but a lot of drivers tend to find themselves just on the way out. And one of the other important parts, one of the only other ways you can get a penalty in this game, not handed by league stewards, is practicing your pit entries. And when you don't have a good pit entry, you should practice your pit entry, because when you don't practice your pit entries, you speed into the pits, and then you lose so much time off such a simple, easy mistake, and it makes me so angry. Mike has made me on the side of his where it really, really grinds my gears.
It's a very unnecessary penalty to get, and just because, you went 1 mile an hour too quickly into pit lane, which is easily preventable, yeah, you cost yourself over 30 seconds just stationary in pit lane, plus another trip down it, and it's just a bad day for everybody involved. Just practice your pit entries, everyone. You spend hours on track, spend a couple in the pit lane. Not hours, minutes.
Yeah, not even minutes. Just when you finish your session, what I do is I go into the pits when I finish my session, when I'm not done. But Jan Flock's pressure all over the back as they go through this chicane. That Porsche going to be much better through it. Flock's going to lose, a full 4 tenths through that section, but he'll gain some of it back through the Coca-Cola curve. Sweet exit for him, but he will likely not make it to T1 alongside, unless a miracle happens. No.
Bit too far back, that's for sure, and now going to be looking just to gain in the braking zone. That Ferrari 296 hasn't looked the greatest this season from, well, really any driver. Just the car in general hasn't performed, in my opinion, to where I would think it would be. Just interesting observation, but It's just how the nature of the beast goes, and he's found an opportunity in the arena sector now, has Jan Flox. Sticks it alongside, though, is going to have to give it up through the exit of the arena. Now heading down towards Valvoline, looking into the inside. This is a dangerous dance that you can make where you can easily find yourself off in that gravel trap through Valvoline into Ford and down the hill towards the Dunlop. Dunlop opportunities are going to be available, but you can also try to set it up on the exit. It's a bit risky. The Michael Schumacher S's are going to be those high speed left, right, left. Wait. Right, left, right. No, left, right, left. Wait.
I think you're right. I think you're right on the last one. But, Yazan, yes, ACC does. I think I just said that so wrong. ACC does have a little leeway with 3 to 5 kilometers, but yes, you really don't want to risk it. But speaking of risking it, here comes Jan Flox all over that back bumper. Can smell the exhaust fumes of that German machine. And you mentioned the Ferrari just hasn't been as good, and I agree. I'm wondering if April 1st had some sort of update to the LFM, but unsure as Jan Flox. Still just trying to inch closer to this Porsche, but it seems like Hargan can just find his way ahead, blocking every door. But as they head to the Coca-Cola curve, that Ferrari is going to be a little bit quicker through it just based on the nature of the car.
Indeed. 25 minutes into this race so far. Driver's not really looking for pit stops at this time, so this isn't going to end anytime soon, I presume. Now we do have Fabiano Rousseau, as I say that, coming into pit lane. Also, Jelson Cruz is off and into the barrier.
That is massive news for Hamoud. I'm not sure where Hamoud is in comparison. We'll take a look at Cruz here. Into this left-hander here. I'm guessing he just put the hammer down at some point where he shouldn't have. Yes.
A little distracted back marker. Francisco Barbosa was placing himself there kind of in the spot that he needed to be, just going very slow, and I'm not sure Jelson was particularly ready for it. Maybe wasn't fully aware that he was encroaching there onto that and reacted poorly and ended up in the barrier. It's very easy to do and very unfortunate. Now Mo Hamoud, he's up a position, 2 behind, well, I guess 1 position to be behind Joel Bandera, his rival, with about 4 seconds up the road to him.
2 points separate the two in this championship. I believe just generally whoever wins, whoever has the higher position will win tonight. Because I don't think there's any positions once they both were to crash out.
Unless it's for below 9th and 10th. That's what I was hinting at earlier. So if they finish in 9th and 10th, if Mo was... Oh man, now I gotta pull it. If Mo
was in 9th.
In 10th, or yes, if Mo is in 9th, he will not win.
Okay, wait.
Correct.
Okay, good.
If Mo finishes 9th and Joel finishes 10th, he will not win. But if he finishes 8th and Joel finishes 9th, he will win. So, a bit complicated there. As it stands, Mo Hamoud needs to finish ahead of Joel. That's not a question.
Yeah. If you're an F1 fan, point scoring in GT racing is obviously much, much different because there's normally way more cars. There's 20, actually the exact number of the F1 grid this time, but it all kind of comes down to everybody gets points, but the drivers on top get way more points, and I'm sure you wish your favorite driver could get 60 points on any given weekend. As Jan Flox, a little bit off there, he's still going to be chasing Hargan now.
Not going to give up at any stretch of the imagination. Barry Hargan isn't either, though. In the Petrol Aficionados. Man, I wish I had that livery. What a great name for that.
A lot of great liveries, a lot of great names. I love sim racing, man. Wow.
Absolutely. Gravel trap racing for Mike Gravelle. Like, come on. I know we always mention that. Rocky Rocco and the Rockefeller Racing. There's some good combinations out there, you know?
I will never not mention it, but this Ferrari's putting pressure all over the back of this Porsche, but just can't find a way through. Barry Hargan, door is shut. He is the keeper of the gate right now for that Ferrari.
Holding on at the moment. We're going to see if Jan Flox can find any sort of door open. That's what he's looking for at the moment. He really needs to keep close, though. This is the gap that he needs to stick with. His problem is he gets about 6/10 behind when he gets onto the start-finish straight. So through the Dunlop and gaining massively. This is going to be tough, though. Into the Schumacher S's. You're not really looking for an overtake, as you really just are going to lose a lot of time to the cars in front if you do go for it. Big lift there for Barry. Back onto the throttle. Picks it up now. Heading towards the left-hander coming up. And it is just going to be a little bit too far back for Jan Flox. Closes it up again. And the real opportunity will be into that Coca-Cola curve, I would imagine. Unless...
Jan wants to... Unless he can find it here. Jan loses a little stability, though. He'll lose probably about a tenth from that, but Jan wants to park it right behind this Porsche, right till he gets up to the Coca-Cola curve. Hopefully less than a tenth between them, which is just insane racing with how close these drivers are.
Big curb usage for the Porsche. That's dangerous. Manages to get away with it this time, and the Ferrari's into pit lane. Jan Flox in, Joey Raymer in, Jelson Cruz in. It looks like we're beginning our pit stop phase at this moment. A little earlier than I expected, but seems like that's when they want to call it.
And maybe some undercuts here. Cruz obviously want to pit earlier if you've got damage and that you're going to repair, and I'm assuming Cruz is going to repair it. That was a very fast smash into that right-hander wall there for him.
Yeah, might as well. There's no reason not to with 45 minutes remaining. It's just going to be a bit of a struggle, especially if you have any sort of aerodynamic noticeable, or anything noticeable. It can really just mess with your head more than anything. Like, the pace might only be a tenth or two off, but with that tenth or two off, your brain just thinks, oh, well, I'm so much slower now, and that forces you to overdrive, drive way too hard, and that causes crashes later on.
That, and sometimes the car is just genuinely, like, if you hit it wrong, you hit it the weird way. You can lose up to 4 or 5 tenths. You can get so much damage off such weird niche things in this game, and it's a key part of sim racing is sometimes you hit a wall really weird, you don't hit it that fast. In real life, it's probably a dent, and you have severe front left damage.
Or your tub gets cracked, in some cases, allegedly.
True.
Even though that wasn't that hard of a hit. But hey.
Hey. Them's the brakes. Actually, no, he did not use...
He tried.
The brakes.
Anyways.
Yeah, he definitely tried.
Well, I think everyone looking forward to Formula One coming up tonight. Sprint race. No one can spoil it. Oh man, boy, Barry Hargan. This might be spoiling his night. Let's take a look at what happened here. Is this a self-inflicted injury? Might be.
It looks like he's on his own island. Should be. It's the same thing, relatively in a different corner that Cruz did. And that is rough. Try to get the stability. Couldn't do it. He'll take the strange paths that are there for some reason back to the racetrack. He'll lose. It looks like he lost a position to Dubois. But yeah, as a McLaren fan, I'm extremely excited for tonight. I cannot lie. This is the most excited I've been since Piastri was second in, I think second or first. I don't know if he pulled that last year in the sprint race at, I don't even remember the track.
It was second. And was it, like, I can't remember even what tracks were sprint races. Was it like Imola? No, Imola didn't have a sprint. I don't know. Anyways, testing my Formula One knowledge, and I don't know. Very bouncy Polka there, or Porca. I'm assuming is what you meant there. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of what I mentioned earlier. Is it's a very stiff car. Going through those curbs can be dangerous. You don't really want to be pushing the envelope on those curbs, as it can send you off into the next dimension. And that's not quite the postal service you want.
Oh yeah, sorry. Qatar, he started second, got first, but Dubois looking to get...
He did win.
First ahead. He's pushing the back bumper of the Eller here. I think he's been pushing for quite a bit. Maybe it was someone else, but a lot of Porsches in that midfield pack right now. They're doing better than the Ferraris, I'd say, as you see a bunch of Ferraris toward the bottom, a lot of them in the pit, but Dubois all over this back bumper, trying to reel in Eller. Like you said, a walleye at Lake I can't even remember it.
Well, he reeled him in like a walleye on the ice of Lake Winnebago is I think what you're looking for. Jeez Louise. Gonna have to go early on the brakes there, backs out as you're gonna see him set up into the final corner. This is a big lift there at the exit. That's interesting. Really just wants to get the perfect entry into the Coca-Cola curve, but there's a little wobble on exit, and that is not what Patrick was looking for. That is going to see a Porsche disappear into the distance down that start-finish straight, and he wants to be closing in. He does, as you can see, that McLaren get up to top speed. It will close back up as the Porsche straight line speed, not quite all there, but the acceleration is where that thing is strong.
This Porsche, I mean, oh, Dubois goes wide behind Eller. That is rough. He'll have much more time to gain now, but these Porsches have been just eating that curb. Maybe it's the drivers just willing to put it all on the line, but they've been eating the curb more than others as Rocco is off. Oh no, right at the pit lane. We'll see what he did here.
Unforced error, it seems, and Rocky was already out of the pits. Way too deep into the chicane, as you can see. Missed the first apex and just overcooked it severely. That's going to be some burnt toast.
Yeah, hopefully nothing burnt in the car, as he will not hit pit lane. I thought that was pit lane. I think it's just a weird line in the middle of the circuit that is truly deceiving, as Fabiano Russo putting pressure on Reimers. Oh my gosh, never mind. A full second lost in that one turn. That is a rough go for Russo as he tries to hawk down Reimer and continue this duel through arena.
He is going to gain right back up, though. Confidence is there for Fabiano. You can see that, letting that little mistake get by him. And pushing along for the position. It's going to be P15 he's battling for, but obviously that will change as more and more drivers come in. Joel Bandera, he is going to be joining the club. And now Mo Hamoud, well, he's ahead of Joel Bandera for now. We'll see if that stays, obviously. It is going to come down to the pit stop here of Joel and Mo. But everybody's so far taking tires.
It'll all come down to exit placement, as you mentioned. Only a few drivers have not pitted, and those are the ones typically at the front. Looks like a lot of drivers who were in the back. I guess they are in the back now because they pitted, but a lot of drivers in the back who did pit. The highest one, I believe, being 11th who pit, potentially, perchance, mayhaps.
From 13th down, but we also have a few more people that are going to be joining that club. Patrick Dubois, Allure, Joel Bandera. Lots of people are deciding that this is the time as we approach that halfway point. Another about a minute before we get there. And on that, of course, we do have this stream sponsored by SimStaff. Now, SimStaff is hiring, and they want you. Whether you're a seasoned sim racer or just starting out, here's your chance to dive into the sim racing industry. Apply now and kickstart your journey with SimStaff. Head on down to the link in the description and tell them SFRGT sent you.
Of course, your support supports this community and supports us in the booth. So triple support there if you want to go to SimStaff. A lot of S's, a lot of alliteration, but make sure you go check that out.
Yeah, and you're going to do a lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff that you're going to do with SimStaff. Great company.
Life's too short to not have tons of fun. And Saldana, the Bentley will hit the pits that'll leave Mo Hamoud in 5th now.
Oh, Carson, you know what I'm about to say?
Practice your pit entries.
That's exactly what I'm about to say. Practice your pit entries, Patrick Dubois. I may like your livery, even though it's not here currently, but you're doing my face wrong by getting that stop go 30.
I knew it was coming. I saw it. I felt it. I felt it deep in my soul. It rocked me to my very core with true sadness. But one day, we will get a race over an hour where there is no pit stop penalties.
That would require everybody to practice. That's a tough ask.
That is a really tough ask. We've seen it happen in 20-minute races where you can somehow rack up 2 pit penalties. Ryan Bula. Oh man.
I thought that was 3.
It was 3 because he technically didn't serve it. Oh no, Gravelle off into more gravel. Looks like he took the
He's
right
one with his
here.
people there briefly. Let's see how he managed to get that. Oh no, just Porsche things.
Overcorrection.
Oh, and he misses the wall.
He didn't hit the wall.
Good stop.
Ooh. That is very rough. Some support for Devin in chat. Always love to see it as Patrick Dubois, his teammate, the McLaren, British lawnmower for the already penalized driver. That is rough.
That's an Allure ahead of him. Whoa! Little late on the brakes there, Patrick. And through the gravel. And going to be bouncing his way along as he froggers his way back to the track. But manages a safe rejoin.
Yeah, that is rough. As Dubois was on the receiving end of a unsafe rejoin earlier, as we mentioned, as Jan Flox now going to put pressure on Eller instead of Dubois. He'll take the position as he does not send it up the inside. I'm a liar apparently, but Dubois in the pits again, right?
Indeed.
Is he already in the pits?
No, he's serving a stop go.
Oh yeah, he's serving a stop go 30.
You have to do that within 3 laps, or you will receive a more severe penalty. And in the case of a stop go 30, the only penalty more severe than that is a disqualification. Nobody wants that.
Oh. Yazin, that is Absolutely my bread and butter there. I love baseball. AstroTurf, yes, very, very slippery. AstroTurf was like playing on ice. It was the first version of turf that you know and love today, and a lot of this track, when you get into the marbles, is just like that. No grip, nothing. You just lose the car and you fly away.
Now the question here, can Jan Flox fly away from Allure? But Allure at the moment is holding on for dear life. Has been under pressure for pretty much this entire race. And also, Rocky Rocco rejoining in front of Joey Raymer there. Very tight. Does manage to keep it between, well, rather without contact here. Let's go back and see what happened. This is second off here for Rocky. As the car starts to turn, and it doesn't stop.
Ooh, big hit, too, for the Rockefeller Racing Machine. That's Costa behind. That's actually not that unsafe. He's on the outside. Definitely still would have been very bad if Raymer were to miss his braking zone, but Rocky Rocco around again. That car's got some big damage. Might have gotten more, but he'll hit the he'll hit the pit stop once and for all, and we'll definitely be doing some long repairs.
Second and for all, more like it. That's very unfortunate, as Rocky Rocco's evening turns from good into terrible within a matter of moments. Now the battle rages on up ahead for the Rockefeller Racing team, though. Marco Saldana behind the wheel of the big old Bentley, battling with Joel Bandera. Now, if this position happens, that's going to put Mo Hamoud and Joel Bandera into a position to battle it out for P3 in the championship, where those two will decide who gets the $20. And if that racing comes to fruition, I don't think we're going to be seeing any holds barred.
Yeah, Joel Bandera definitely has more pace than we saw earlier in the race, but he's been losing it as he goes. Those first few laps, he was rapid, but just kind of lost a little bit of time somehow. And when you don't have pressure on you, sometimes you just tend not to do as well, but he's definitely got pressure now. He's got a very big, very scary English machine behind him, and hopefully for Hamoud, he'll be praying that Saldana gets ahead and can slow him down.
As that battling would be absolutely a nail in the coffin for Joel Bandera, and hopefully he can manage here. He's feeling the pressure. The Bentley is definitely not a car that you want behind you because it's intimidating. But what has happened to our leader currently, Albert Tranghese? Albert was in third position, I think, pre-pit phase. Bottoms out on the curb, and the McLaren gets very unhappy through the Schumacher S's, and that's not the first time I think we've seen an incident like that, Carson.
And it won't be the last. We've seen so many incidents here. It's going to happen. You got to take curvature to go fast, but there is millimeters where your car will just not be a car anymore. If you don't do it right, you're going extremely fast over two very high curbs. I don't think I need to spell out what that makes, but the recipe is very there and very well known.
I don't think you need to spell it out. We saw it ourselves. Albert Tranghese, he's going to decide enough's enough and come in for the pit.
Some damages and repairs there for him, but Miles Jr. going to be in first, one of the last few drivers to pit, other than Barbosa, who is sitting in 19th right now.
Going to be 30 minutes pretty much for these drivers to decide what position is what. And Mo Hamoud is closing in slowly but surely on Marco Saldana. Although that's Jelson Cruz behind, and Jelson last lap, he was slower. This lap, though, might be a different story.
Yeah, this is going to, I think, turn into four-way battle for that sixth spot. Joel Bandera in it first, Saldana close behind. I think he's definitely... Bandera's gaining time away from that Bentley machine. I think a large amount. Actually, he was way closer last lap. But could be a four-way battle for the sixth position. If people manage to catch up, as Saldana is going to take these turns specifically better, she can eat those curbs in this machine.
Yeah, the Bentley is it's not feared to the curbs like the McLaren is. You can see the Schumacher S's where we saw Albert Tranghese have a bit of a struggle. The Bentley can take all of that curb and some. It's a great suspension on it, very heavy car, and that's Albert Tranghese coming out neck and neck with Joel Bandera. Does manage to keep the position, but he's deep into the first corner and hands those two positions over for free. Side by side, though, with Marco Saldana on the rejoin. There's contact, both drivers are spinning, and there's a secondary collision. Regaining, though, is Marco Saldana. He gets back under control. Albert Tranghisi on those cold tires. Very unlucky on that rejoin.
And that, folks, will put Mohamed right behind Joel Bandera in 7th. He's got some time to gain, but he's got open track ahead, and Joel Bandera, eyes on the prize now for 3rd place and that $20. $20.
Yes.
No, it's not a gift card, just $20.
$20 USD cash money. That will be sent over, of course, to whoever wins between Joel and Mo. Whoever finishes ahead will get the dosh. Now, Ricardo Rivera and Miles Jr. have had... Miles Jr. needs to come in for a pit stop still. He doesn't, though. He's sending it. He's on full bore send, and we saw where Albert was when he came into the pits. Miles is going to come out in a similar spot next to the likes of Mo and Jelson, I would imagine, or Joel.
Yeah, Joel just wants to try and get more and more space away from Mo for obvious reasons, and also the fact that that pit stop should affect him less if he comes out directly in front of Joel like we just saw, but it'll be super, super important with only 1.5 seconds separating these two drivers, or rather from 2.5 separating these two drivers and 1.3 and quickly closing to the Porsche behind of Cruz.
Sticking with it for now, and Cruz as well, cruising along to try to finish P7 in the 777. That's not going to be enough for him, let's be real. He wants more than that. Bit of a moment, though, on exit. That's not going to help him too much on the charge. Mohamed, he is the one, though, again, to keep the eye on. Let's see, lap times, a 156.3 to a 155.8. Mo is quicker than Joel at this moment.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if he can escape that before Jelson Cruz comes ahead. As now, we mentioned, there's back markers ahead. Here's Barbosa in that Ferrari. And this could, through this section, when you really do not want to overtake right after Arena, if he can't get it done through the hairpin, or he doesn't let him by, but he will let him by. It actually might be a problem now for Hamoud, headed into the last section of this track.
And the back marker there was very nice, I have to say. Barbosa getting out of the way pretty early. Allure has had a bit of a yellow flag here. What's happened? Allure's back in pit lane.
Looks like he, I assume, from what I saw, very cinematic. Oh, I'm going to guess he hit a wall. Just educated guess.
I guess enough is enough there for Allure. Fair enough. Allure is another one of those drivers that has finished every... That's actually really surprising that they returned to pit lane. I hope to see him back out on track because that would be their only DNF of the season, which says something.
Oh, my gosh.
Whoa, what happened?
The back marker just spun, and I think... I don't know if that was involved. I just saw Cruz was right in front of it. Oh, nope. Oh, wait, no, yeah, this is... Okay, looks unrelated to the cars ahead. I just saw Cruz at the same time, and that is... Oof.
That's what you call a case of being too nice. I
Kept
respect
it
it,
wall,
Barbosa. You know, I respect the letting by of other drivers, but sometimes you can't let other drivers by. It's just, there's times, time and place. You don't want to affect your race just to make theirs better. And, you know, it's a balance. Obviously, you have to affect your race to a certain extent, but... You don't want to give that much up, obviously. That's, there's a balance. You want to find a nice straightaway, a nice corner where you can take the offline and allow Mohamed or whoever that is, whoever's the front marker through, and typically they will oblige handily and see that you are letting them by.
Just as a general point, that gap between Hamoud and Bandera just shortened by a second in the past few laps. He's got a very bright, very green Porsche, going to be all over his back bumper soon. If he can't seem to improve, as now it's just a second. They're going to be real close real soon. Bandera going to need to play some hard defense. Maybe just, we'll have to see, I guess. It's just the best way I can describe this is now they're running 4th and 5th. Even more points on the line, but shouldn't be too much as Pagani, the 5th place driver, actually is right ahead of them, and it would take a double DNF for him to get this 3rd spot.
Indeed, and both of these drivers they know what's at stake, so they are going to be driving at more than 100% here. They're going to be driving at 120% to try to keep each other at bay, but that could cost you. Obviously, you need to keep within your limits and not crash the car. That's going to be everything here, but there is no doubt that the fact that we can see here is that Mohamed is slowly but surely closing that gap from Joel Bandera, putting the pressure on slowly. But of course, pressure can turn to diamonds or it can turn to dust, and we'll see what Joel has for us in store.
Yeah, and right behind is Hamoud, who's just, I don't know, found another gear. Found 7th gear in those straights. It just feels like with how close he's getting, and he's going to get even closer, down almost to 5/10 in that corner. He'll lose some on the exit. No, he won't. He's got a better exit, down to 6/10, headed to turn 1. I think we're bound to see a clash. It looks like Mo is improving about 0.5 every single lap compared to the McLaren ahead.
I don't know how Joel can hold this off. This is going to be a really tough ask. I think that Mo is going to be pushing him to the absolute limit now currently. Remember, Mo is 2 points down in the championship on Joel Bandera. He needs to finish by at least 3 points. And if they were to get that, if Mo finishes 5th and Joel finishes 4th, that's enough. That is 3 points difference, and that would do it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Bandera definitely could find a way to get it faster here. So, you mentioned pressure can turn them to dust or to diamonds. As we hit through the section here, this is going to be the spot where it's not great. As Miles Jr. looks like kicked out by Fabiano Russo. Some contact, I think, between the two cars as he drives down the inside. Thinks better of it. Real close to that back bumper. Don't know how he missed Russo there, but the Spirix Onyx team car remains unscarred from Jr. behind.
Yeah, that was very tight and dicey. I have a feeling Miles Jr. has a little chip on his shoulder as he goes for it, and he's going to make it work. My goodness, that was a send and a half. He goes, oh no, Fabiano Russo loses it on exit, but through Valvoline, that was a commanding send and a clean one at that from Miles Jr. in the Porsche. I don't think there was any contact.
Yeah, talk about hammered down. My goodness, definitely a chip on his shoulder there. That car's got damage, not sure it's from his, ooh. Oh, Hamoud rockets by Michael Gravelli, who just kind of jump scared me on screen. I don't think it was even that intense, actually.
That was Mike being very generous and allowing them by in a very safe manner, as I mentioned earlier, on a nice straightaway where you can lift off and allow them by without any issues. And that is that's what Mike managed to find.
Mike's a great character individual on track, and like you said, Joe Bandera.
This is terrible.
That string easy turned.
You don't want to be here as we have a car coming by. Okay, it's going to be all right, but let's see what happened. Through
right behind this.
The NGK here, following the Bentley. Ooh, what?
What happened? Why did he do that? Jelson.
I don't think that was intentional, but boy, did it look intentional.
I think he was braking that entire time, and he kept trying to find a way not to hit him, and I think he tried to go ahead and just plowed right into the back bumper. If that isn't intentional,
no,
it certainly looked like it. But
I'll tell you what happened.
Thumbs up.
So on the exit of that, or on the entry of pit lane, there's a curb that separates the track. So I would imagine that Jelson, when rejoining, hit that curb, lost control of his car, and well, the rest is history. It was not intentional. Let's just clear that. That was not an intentional move from Jelson Cruz. That's clear, but it did look pretty bad.
So what you're telling me is Albert Tringhisi just got flying T-boned over a curb. That is not what I had on the bingo card.
Yeah, I didn't either.
You know what? It just happened.
Was it Jelson's fault? Yes. But was it Jelson doing it intentionally? No.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that definitely could happen. But you mentioned pressure turning to diamonds as Joel Bandera has found another gear, and it might be dirty air combined with Joel Bandera getting it faster. That 0.5 gain per lap has slowed down, but Mohamoud still gaining. Now just 4/10 as they head to the Coca-Cola curve. Through the chicane, he can definitely get a big gain here. That Porsche seems to just eat those curbs right there for some reason, up for no reason at all. But this is going to get shortened down to 3/10 on exit. Jump in. I'm on board with Mohamoud, this Canadian driver, trying to find his way to $20, but more than that, pride.
Yeah, that is really what these drivers want. $20, you know, it's not everyone in the sim racing community, obviously. In order to have a wheel, you need a $20 it's a great, you know, it's a gift. It's not everyone wants it, but it's a reward for the effort. And this right here, this is the effort that these drivers are putting in. This is what you're here for, right? You don't need $20 to tell Mohamoud to go and race as hard as possible with Joel Bandera, but when you put $20 on the line, by my goodness, these two are going to fight it out like a knife fight in a phone booth. So let's see what's in store for the next 20 minutes of the SFRGT Challenge, the grand finale here at the Nürburgring.
Yeah, both these cars increasing the time to the Marco Saldana behind, and the car ahead is Pagani, 12 seconds ahead. It's just these two, a duel through the arena, you might say. But it's just kind of like a gladiator fight. All you've got is what you have in your cars and what you're willing to put down on track. We'll have to see as it goes through the section. And just as a brief reminder, Ricardo Rivera doing great. Lucas Costa doing great. Those two drivers ahead as Lucas Costa just put down the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, that's right. We have more drivers in this race than these two, but let's be real. These are the two that we're here to see. This is where the real money is made, quite literally. So these drivers, again, for the pride and for the $20 and the bragging rights, I think that is going to be the biggest prize that these drivers have. Obviously, Lucas Costa has sealed the championship, and I think Marcos Vinicius, has finished in P2. He's still in the race, down in 15th, had that collision earlier, I think spin early on. So here we see it. This is the final position, or the first battle, I don't know how to word that. It's P3. This is P3 in the championship, everyone. We got things on the line.
Yes, sluggers going at it. Obviously, we haven't seen them truly battle yet, as Mohamed hasn't really closed that last 4/10. Can't seem to find it, I say, as he is now going to be directly on the back bumper of that McLaren as they head through the arena.
Through the arena is tough. Always a challenge to make anything happen with the constant nature of it, but we see the Porsche trying to use its nimbleness to take the advantage there. We saw a move into the left-hander coming up here, Valvoline, very soon. I don't think we're going to see it from Mo. That's a little too risky at this stage, as a collision from Mo would end their attempt. Mohamed needs to finish ahead in these positions. He cannot afford a collision. He cannot afford a penalty. This has to be legit and done on track. And he has 18 and a half minutes to do it.
Yeah, just these two, as we mentioned. Saldana getting closer, I think, technically, but I don't think it'll be too much of a factor. And if it does, it'll be very bad for Mo, who does not want to see a Bentley in his rearview mirror too close now. But what Joe Bandera does see is third place if it gets by. That bright green Porsche, pretty similar to the green trees around, is very all up in his bumper and very much wants this position more than anything right now, I think.
Honestly, if Marco Saldana caught this, that would help Joel Bandera out exponentially, as he's going to lose it. Mohamed loses it here on lap 28 and puts himself into the gravel trap, loses the position to Marco Saldana, and now has all of the work in the world to get this position back. 2 positions separating him and the $20.
Yeah, off goes Hamoud, and that is just rough for the Canadian. He'll be relegated to 4th place now in the championship for sure, with Saldana right ahead, as he seems to have lost that pace right on the back bumper of Bandera and lost the car. Too much curb, and now he's going to be under pressure from Jelson Cruz, who was faster earlier.
I think the pressure got to him there. We said earlier, diamonds are dust, and it seems that he took to the dust there, did Mohamed. He can still gain it all, but it's going to be a lot of work ahead of him. We've completed 29 laps here tonight, and now with 17 minutes and 15 seconds left, can he close that gap back up? Joey Raymer has here to Miles Jr.
Miles Jr., one of the many Brazilians on this grid. He got into an accident earlier tonight. Or no, he didn't. He had that amazing overtake on Fabiano Russo. But Raymer looking to get one of maybe not as equal intensity, but just the position would be nice for Raymer here in the Nameless Racing Machine.
Sure, he'd take it. Every point matters. Now, Joey Raymer, let's see, where is he in the championship? He is currently sitting P7. Now, keep in mind, he started last in every single race. He's done the last to first challenge every time, for fun. So, shout out to Joey. He's just here to, race. And that's, he's not here to win. He's not here to prove anything. He just wants to have a good time out on track and show what he is made of.
Actually, it looks like he's going to be P6. Rocky Rocco is done for the night, it seems. He looks to have DNF'd after that massive accident. I think he had over, what I would guess, 5 minutes of damage with how hard he hit that. The car was black, and I saw the black and orange flag when he was driving by, so definitely needed a lot of repairs. But that'll be 6th place for the last first driver, Raymer, in the Nameless Racing Machine. definitely making a name for himself here.
100%. And I did get a message from Rocky a little bit ago. Yeah, he did retire, and the message probably cannot say on stream. Let's just say, nonetheless, he is not too happy with his driving tonight.
Such is sim racing.
How's Devin doing? Devin's currently crushing it up in 13th. He has gained 4 positions from 17th where he started. The Rockefeller Racing 664.
This car has been pretty rapid. Has been involved in some battles tonight, and I think it's had speaking of accidents, sorry, that is not what I meant to say. Either way, Dubo was involved in an accident earlier. It wasn't his fault. Oh man, I'm sorry, Dubo. I knew it was coming. Same spot too, Dubo. Tried to make it overtake around Gravelli, but now going to be putting pressure on that back bumper of that Porsche. I am taking full responsibility for that, Patrick. If you come back and watch this VOD, just know it wasn't your fault. It was all me.
I have a feeling this battle isn't going to end anytime soon, and if it does end, it's not going to look too good. Oh my goodness, pushing the limit there, as he is going to have to settle in behind as they approach Valvoline through Ford now. Going to be looking towards the Dunlop, I would imagine, for a send to the inside here. Dubo definitely feels that he is faster. Now the question is, can he make that dream become a reality? Can he prove it? Sends it into the braking zone to the outside, looking for that better exit, but the Schumacher S is approaching. It's going to be quite the ask to make a move anywhere.
We're really going to be looking to slam the door on what seems to be the faster car behind. He is all over that back bumper of that Porsche, but Dubo is going to be kind of under the pressure here. He's going to be the one that's more likely to make a mistake in the situation with how much faster he is, especially through this section. He'll go to the inside, try to make a move, think better of it. He knows that that's not going to work. It's right there. He's just going to run into the car ahead. He'll try again now for that switchback opportunity. Tucks away as we head down to this fast section. He's blinking, trying to let him know he goes by, but this is 4th position. Gravel's not going to give it up easy. Oh, no! Dubo tries to get around. Looks like he may have tapped. Contact happened somewhere there. And Dubo and Gravel, they get into it. Massive damage for both cars. Oh, no.
Here's a replay of that one, folks. So there's the flash of the headlights from Dubo saying, I am coming no matter what. And there was a tap there mid-corner. I'm not sure if that was net code, but as they went through Advent Bogan, well, massive contact, massive damage. A flash of the headlights from Patrick. Not sure about that one.
Yep.
But
that is rough for Gravelli. I mean, if that isn't net code, that is not on Gravelli.
No, there was nothing Gravelli could have done in that situation, but go faster when he couldn't have. Careful.
Yeah, that...
In the middle of the track here, we're going to have some cars approaching soon. Oh, wait, we're not on track. Never mind, I'm fine.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Gravelli's going to come in.
This is in the pits. Good to Gravelli for coming into the pits instead of just immediately quitting the game, because that's real rough. That is a very violent crash in a very fast part of the circuit that definitely did not leave that car in good position with 12 minutes left, but he may not finish this race, but he put enough laps down, I think, to technically still get 17th, or 18th, rather, as Barbosa is still putting down laps.
Yeah, he does have enough technically to finish. I'd love to see him make the checkered flag, though. Just a testament. Get back out there, despite anything, and make the checkered. That's what you're here to do. You signed up for the race, you might as well finish it. Yeah,
and you can obviously watch Gravelli's perspective if you want to see how that went. That very tight battle went for him, what he tried to do to defend there. You can open his stream and our stream at the same time, kind of like opening F1 and watching your favorite driver.
Yeah, it's going to be Gravel Trap Racing. I'm not sure you want to go back and watch that one, as, well, I'm not sure we do on this stream, but yeah, definitely go back and check out his reaction on that, because I'd imagine it wasn't the most excited reaction.
Yeah, and it's... From the booth, it definitely looked very, very rough. Neither of those cars are in real racing condition. Dubo definitely got some sort of damage. I mean, that Porsche smashed into him, trying to get recontrol. And there's nothing the Porsche really could have done to nurse Dubo's injuries, but we'll leave it to the stewards. But I think I have a feeling there will be a steward involved in that one.
Yeah, I'd almost say certainly, but that is neither here nor there. We have the Vesta Sport here of Albert Tranghisi, who's 1.5 seconds off of Jelson and making his way to try to claim P7, the 777 in 7th. He wants to make that tail become, well, just that, a folk tale. placing himself up there in the rankings. He had a bit of a rough one earlier. We saw him bottom out in the Schumacher S's. They're trying to recover from that.
Yeah, definitely did not help getting flying T-boned by Cruz either. That was, I mean, that was incredible in the sense of I just didn't expect to see that happen. Because the camera angle was perfect, right? Because you see Tranghisi, you don't see Cruz at all until the very last second where he flies over the curb. I mean, that would have hit the window of that McLaren.
Yeah, it's not an ideal crash. And we're going to see a little bit of deja vu, except this time Tranghisi is going to be on the attack. Let's see if he ends up like a torpedo. I would imagine not.
I was going to say, let's try not to attack over the pit lane curb, as we've seen earlier. But he's much faster than this Cruz ahead, it seems. Cruz definitely sustained damage from earlier's crash on that front end. There's no way he did not. Ooh, a lot of sparks from this McLaren. It seems very low to the ground for a circuit like this. Every curb seems to just give it uneasiness. As Tranghisi not going to get too close through Coca-Cola, but he'll try and make a sweet overtake this lap with how close he is.
Yeah, and with all those sparks coming off the ground, I think it's going to be a little bit more wet here in the Nürburgring out in the Ardennes region. No, we're not in the Ardennes. We're in the what's it called? Yeah, we're in the Ardennes, aren't we? No, I think we're in the Ardennes. I can't remember. Anyways, wherever we are, currently commentating from Nürburgring, Germany, obviously. Yeah, not going to be the Chinese grass that we saw earlier today.
Yeah, it's in the Rhineland, if you're looking for the province, but yeah.
I'm looking for it's not quite what I'm looking at. It's in a forest, I know that. I don't remember which.
No, I know that. I didn't have it, so I just said I knew where it is, and at least the province. But Tranghisi in Germany, still with Cruz, putting pressure all over the back bumper here. He's getting closer, just a little bit every turn. Seems inevitable for Cruz with 8 minutes left, or rather 9 closer to it, to keep that Vestaport McLaren behind.
So far, Albert is a absolute animal we've seen. And I would imagine he's going to make not easy work. I mean, these two obviously have history in this race. With 8.5 minutes left to go, anything can happen. And we're in the Eifel Mountains. That's what it is, not the Ardennes. We're in the Eifel region. My bad.
This is a dream location. Oh, wow. Sorry.
No worries. He's right on the bumper, sending it now to the inside of Advan Bogan, and that is not going to work for Albert Tranghisi this time around. That was a heck of a send. Needs to get it stopped there for the NGK, and he does. Now through the Coca-Cola, taking that deep line. Look at this. He's going to set up the exit here, Carson.
Yeah, one more corner, he would have flown over. If it was the next corner on, he would have flown over the pit and done the actually exact same to Jelson Cruz, but it did not happen. He's going to have a good opportunity here into P1. He's going to look it down to that envelope, doesn't push it. He'll put send there. Ooh, definitely bottomed out there. That's not going to be good, but he'll gain time.
Yeah, not the end of the world. I think he actually... Yeah, lost a couple tenths, but still stuck behind a rock and a hard place here, looking to make it by taking any alternate line that he can, but it's just not amounting to anything. Are we going to see a send again into one of the most risky sections of Valvoline? No, we are way too far back at this current moment. But looking at the championship battle for P3, Joel Bandera currently is about 3 seconds ahead of Mo Hamoud, and Mo is going to be in a battle with Marco soon enough. We may have secured it at this point. Now Joel obviously needs to keep it between the mayo and the mustard. 3 seconds is it's an advantage to have, but you're not out of the woods just yet.
Actually, you won't be out of the woods for a little while.
I was trying to
directly, yeah.
I couldn't come up with something clever enough.
I get it. I'm sorry. I wish I could have given you the time you needed to cook, because Mike Nause is always in the kitchen. Head chef of a lot of different places, and he always cooks. Mo Hamoud needs to start cooking up some faster lap. He's he definitely is, though. He's 2 seconds now behind Joel Bandera, and Bandera needs to keep it straight, keep it clean, and keep it fast, as Saldana and Saldana and Hamoud are approaching the Canadian and the Bentley.
Yes, indeed. Now Mo Hamoud looking for any opportunity. The exit's going to be crucial here. And obviously Marco Saldana is not going to hand him this position. He knows that the championship battle is a reality, but let's be real, Marcos, he doesn't care about that. He wants to maximize his gains. And obviously you're only as good as your last race, the famous saying, which is, you know, only slightly not true, but that's beside the point. He wants to maximize those results.
Yeah, and I mean, this is getting interesting. Joao Bandera had a very bad exit, and that makes Lucas Costa went off at some point.
Just kicking up some gravel, keeping our eyes interested, you know. Lucas Costa 9 seconds off of Ricardo Rivera, and Guilherme Pagani is, oh my goodness, 50 seconds off of Lucas Costa. That is insane.
That is about that is half a lap ahead. Oh my gosh, as he's hitting the hairpin, Costa's hitting the Coca-Cola. That is kind of crazy. But Marco Saldana, as they head towards that hairpin, as I just mentioned, he's going to be under pressure from this Porsche. He's going to need to make a move around soon. Hamoud has to if he wants to keep P3 of this championship in his sights. He's going to have a good opportunity here. Saldana goes a little bit wide, but he'll have a bit of an exit here as Gravelli. Oh, never mind. He wasn't exiting the pits. I'm sorry. I thought I saw it.
Mo Hamoud's got to send it. I'm just going to be completely honest. He's just got to freaking send it at this point. And I don't say that lightly. I'm not ever really for that, but you got a championship on the line. You have to get by Marco Saldana here regardless. If you want to win, you have to. So you need to do something desperate. You cannot wait. There's no more time left. And that is a beautiful sight to see as Marco Saldana, or excuse me, I mean Joao Bandera kicks up some gravel ahead and cuts off a second to his troubles. We need to see something desperate out of Mo.
Yeah, for him right now, if it's you're not third, you're last. And to be honest, if you pick up a penalty sending it, I mean, you're not going to go P4 or P5, but he's going to put himself into P5, potentially, on that exit, side by side with the Bentley. He'll have to tuck and nip away. This will be a great opportunity. Tries to get the drag, headed down to turn 1. This will be for a lot of marbles, as that back marker
Albert
there,
Tranghisi crashed with Marcos Vinicius. Not sure what happened there, but Marco Saldana into the braking zone, gets held up by Joao Bandera. Mo Hamoud, you can see he goes for the look. Not going to happen. I love that attempt into the Coca-Cola curve, by the way. That's what he needs. He's 2 laps remaining here. He has to get by on this lap, regardless of what corner it is. He sees an opportunity, gets onto the throttle, checks it around to the other side. Not going to happen. Looking now towards Valvoline. Can he find anything? Inside's open. Looks at it, but he's too far back to make it happen. That'd be way too risky. He's a little bit deep. Trying to maximize the speed. Comes back around. Not going to happen through Ford. Down the hill towards Dunlop now. We need something. Something's got to give at this stage. And Joao Bandera, he's really trying to make it easy on Mo.
Yeah. And, I mean, yeah, Joao Bandera is getting caught by 2 drivers fighting. They're still increasing time. He's not increasing time to the cars behind. Saldana and Hamoud could get around him if he doesn't do this right, or he keeps it off at any point. But Hamoud is full attack mode right now, driving at 157% precisely, and will absolutely be sending it at some point, either here or there. But he will absolutely find a way around if he can. If it costs him any points, it might.
Yes, indeed, and it will cost him big potentially. It's getting down to the wire again. We need to see more desperation out of Mo. He's being too nice. Mo is too nice of a guy here. He's got to get his racing driver trousers on, pull out a little bit of a Senna at this point, and just go for it. Again, there's nothing to lose. You get a penalty, so what? I mean, I don't want to, like I said, it's a good exit.
Sorry, again, slightly deep for the Rockefeller Racing Machine. He's going to have a better opportunity than last time at T1. Not to mention, I mean, I'm not for contact in this type of racing, but we are in an American series, and that is a Bentley.
Again, I'm not for contact for most of the time, but this is a different situation. This is a championship, and you have to get this position if you want a chance. Through the arena, sticking to the inside. Come on, Mo. Not going to happen. He can't find it. I want to see the battle between these two so badly. As it stands, though, Mo just not able to find it. The Bentley is as wide as a semi-truck, at least facing the lateral direction. It's just impossible to find anything.
He's facing the Great Wall of Britain as they're both closing in on Bandera. Now it's less than a second for Hamoud to Bandera. He needs to get around this lap immediately because Bandera is not putting up faster times than him. Hamoud gets open air and he's around Bandera lickety-split.
They're going to have one more chance around this circuit. 3.1 miles is going to be ahead of him, well, plus a half a lap.
Now Saldana's putting pressure on Bandera. This makes things very, very interesting. As Hamoud tucked away for so long, it's helped to put pressure on that Bentley. He tries to go around that other side, switching back to the other end as we head now towards this fast left-hander. Bandera slower, and both these cars behind, but off goes the Bentley. This will be a great opportunity. There's no way for Hamoud to get around. He slides the car. Too much gas, too much grass. And now he will watch P4 disappear from him and potentially sit down to P5.
Here is that replay, folks. We saw the opportunity. He saw it with both, but he went onto the grass, and that cost him massively, running out of track there and just dipping a tire into the green stuff, and you can see the result. And he tries to get back on the throttle. Jelson Cruz is off as well, but I think that is going to do it. And I think Joel Bandera is going to be the driver to take home P3. Now, he needs to make it around one more time to the checkered flag to make that dream become a reality. As Ricardo Rivera, he is on the final lap here.
Almost in the final section, as he'll just need to keep it clean, and he has done so all night. But that is rough for Hamoud. Hamoud knows that it was his mistakes, unfortunately, that cost him third place in this championship. But what you can say is Hamoud put everything he had on the line, had a great opportunity, and gave it everything he had. But Ricardo Rivera also did the same, and he'll finish top of the leaderboard. Once again, he's never lost or from pole in this season. He's never not had pole. So what that tells you is that this Puerto Rican driver is absolutely rapid. He crosses the line in first. Lucas Costa behind will do the same in second, and we'll wait 50 seconds for Pagani to hit the line.
Yeah, a little bit further back there for P3, but El Capitan Fantastico up at the front here, Ricardo Rivera and the Puerto Rico iRacing Club, and the champion Lucas Costa finishing in second. And a great way to close it out. Didn't take the win away from his rival, Ricardo Rivera, but they can park it up next to each other and know that the work that they did was quite the effort ahead of them. Joel Bandera, he's a bit further back as well, going to be battling with Marcos Saldana, but I do not think he cares if he loses that position at this point. He has secured P3 as long as he makes it to the checkered flag. And now, Guilherme Pagani coming to the Coca-Cola curve. We'll finally have our P3 finisher.
That'll be sweet for him. He should secure P5 or P4 with this, with the crash from Hamoud, I believe. It's a big gap, but I think he's close enough now with that P3. Very good race for him. One of the best of his all season, as Joel Bandera does the same. And that will be $20 and a whole lot of pride for that Dylan machine to stay ahead.
Absolutely. And don't go anywhere, folks, because we have our awards given for the dedicated drivers coming up as well. We will be going over that. We'll be going over the championship, and what a championship it has been. Again, it's been a bit of a dominance from one side here as we have our drivers, Albert Tranghisi there, full on flat out into the barrier at the end. Good celebration. Way to end the championship. Miles Jr. will be the final driver to the line and actually got overtaken by Joey Raymer on this lap. So they were battling it down to the wire. We unfortunately missed it. But what a championship again that we have had. They are going to be coming. We'll watch the checkered flag for our final two drivers here. Miles Jr. crosses the line, and that, folks, will do it. Ricardo Rivera, Lucas Costa, Guilherme Pagani, your top three. Now, as we head on towards the B-roll here, you can see the lovely track that we just raced on tonight, and we'll take a quick look at our championship. As we have it here, Lucas Costa wins the championship handily. This is the prior round, by the way, folks. I don't have live updated final rounds, unfortunately, so keep that in mind. But Lucas Costa, Marcos Vinicius, and Joel Bandera, that is the order they started, and that is the order they will finish. Mohamed will be kicking himself for this one, unfortunately, but still, it was quite the effort from that driver, the Canadian. And what a season it's been. You can see the results from all of these drivers on screen. And Carson, and just some highlights of this season. Obviously, Allure being one of those drivers, again, had a bit of a rough one in this race. Same with Gravelle, along with a few other drivers involved. Rocky Rocco had a DNF, but what a season it's been.
Yeah, just absolutely wonderful. And we may have missed that last battle, like you mentioned, but what I'm going to miss is this series. This is Season 4 of the SFRGT Friday Challenge. And this has been so much fun. I'm very glad that I spawned in and you let me jump on this with you. This has been so great. A lot to learn from the booth and a lot to learn for these drivers as they look into next season. and it should be a great one. But this one, like you mentioned, was absolutely stellar. Positions everywhere came down to the wire for 3rd and 4th, and a lot of drivers came down to the final lap for their position, and Raymer will move up to 6th with that as one of the other positions. That's another highlight, that last to first. I mean, you see things like that all the time in the league, and I know I just went on a little bit of a yap sesh, but I just want to talk about how much I love this series.
No, absolutely. Pleasure's been mine, Carson, as well. And yeah, this series has just been absolutely incredible. Shout out to the SFRGT staff for putting it on and keeping everybody under control throughout this, dealing penalties when necessary. But of course, what we've been waiting for, the Dedicated Drivers Award. 2 lucky drivers are going to be winning an extra $20. And of course, they had to participate in at least 5 of the rounds. But the drivers that have won that have participated in every single round. Some of them haven't finished every single flag, but that's beside the point. Obviously, just showing up, making that attempt at the first place can really go a long ways. Now, let's get into it and award our drivers. The winner of the Dedicated Driver Award, both of them, is going to be Anuri Allure as well as Mike Gravelle. Congratulations to those 2 drivers for winning that award, putting in the effort and showing up to every single race. And that's really what we're looking for, is the true consistency throughout the championship, showing everybody who's boss just by showing up. So I hope that $20 goes a long way to both of them, the Brazilian and the Canadian. Congratulations, and everybody should give them a nice little round of applause for that, just for showing up again. Cannot thank you guys enough. And of course, our top 10 in the championship are going to be receiving a 10% discount towards the Coach Dave Delta bundle, which is incredible. As well as this stream, of course, being sponsored by SimStaff. Big shout out to them. If you're ready to turn your passion for sim racing into a profession, SimStaff is on the lookout for talented sim racers and enthusiasts like you. Join in shaping the future of sim racing. Head on down to the link in the description and tell them that SFRGT sent you. Mike Gravelle also works for SimStaff. Had no influence to the prize winnings, obviously, but it's, you know, he does. It's just a fact. So shout out there to Mike. Shout out to Allure, Joel Bandera, Marcos Vinicius, and Lucas Costa for taking home the dosh in this championship.
They get the dough, and they get a lot more pride with such a skilled championship with so many good drivers. And you might see someone else towards the top of the leaderboards. I'd like to see Rivera make his way back for maybe a few more races, as that was some good competition for Costa, who took home nearly everything this season.
Absolutely. Also, Jesus Gomez, thank you so much. Thank you all the chat for tuning into all of these streams. Jesus supporting Lucas throughout the entirety of this championship. Again, obrigado. Thank you to all the Brazilians that are out there, of course. Any of the Puerto Ricans. I know we have quite a few Puerto Ricans in chat as well. Wherever you guys are in this fine world, thank you for showing up to this championship. It means the world to us here at SFRGT Challenge. And while you're at it, if you guys are here and enjoying this content, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It goes a long ways here on YouTube and helping that algorithm. But as we have it, I think that's going to do it, Carson. What a season. What a championship. Again, I've been Mike Nause. Thank you so much to Carson throughout the entirety of this championship for participating, but that is going to close it. I hope everybody has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you, and good night.